Hmm. This is Calicats, the Calicaster, and this is a review of Jurassic World Dominion. Yeah, what's that? It ticks the same buttons as some of the other sequels. Um, Overall, though, as sort of a crossover, it's reminiscent of the strange decision of doing back in the day, the Dukes of Hazzard characters wanted more money. This is leading somewhere. So they were like the company just simply replaced them with Bo and Luke with Coy and Vance Duke, and for a season they were replaced by these other guys, and then they had to bring them back. So that's kind of what they're doing here. That's how that's connected. And then when they brought them back, it was like goofy. They sort of like did a handshake and wave off and kind of like, yeah. It's just similar to this in a backward sort of way. Cause they brought in the Malcolm and Ellie and Dr. Grant again. The timeline of the series does seem a little off, but I guess it isn't. Ellie has children that are now in college and is divorced. Dr. Grant never married. Malcolm is a popular author guy who's working for the Sysgen or something like that company. The Sysgen company is clearly evil, and it's run by an Elon Musk type of OCD guy, OCD person. Some people say like Elon Musk has like autism. He's not. No, it's OCD. Quit confusing OCD with autism. Elon Musk does not have autism. Elon Musk is OCD. It's obsessive compulsive disorder. That's a different thing. OCD people stick to a task and keep going and keep going and keep going and don't stop. An autistic person will stop. There's a difference. Stop saying he's autistic. He's not. Okay, in the movie, he plays him like he's OCD. It looked kind of like Brent Spiner. I don't think it was. Somebody kind of looked like him. It's 4 years after the events of the last movie, and they have Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, who got her start because Daddy is Ron Howard, of course. So nepotism. Otherwise, no, she wouldn't have a career in Hollywood. She just wouldn't. Yeah, she's Ron Howard's daughter. Okay, here's Ron Howard's daughter in something. In a similar way to Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, Sofia Coppola. Also, it's her daughter's also. Or the other Coppola, the Nicolas Cage is one of them. So him too. He's a nephew of Coppola. So, anyway, so yeah, nepotism. So these really forgettable original Jurassic World characters to get together with the Jurassic Park characters who are now old and go on an adventure because the new characters have been harboring the genetic clone baby girl from the first one, who is now 14, and she is captured by bad guys and taken to the engine thing, some cisgen thing. I don't think they said cisgen. That's a gender. I don't think that's what they said. I think they called it something else. Not gonna look it up. Not gonna bother. So we have cisgen. Let's call it that. They go on an adventure. They go to other countries and somehow they're all over the world, even though the dinosaurs got out of the haunted house in the second one. There weren't that many of them that got out of the haunted house. So how did all the other ones get there? They didn't explain that. And with only 4 years, where are they? When did they reproduce? Were there other ones there? How long does that work? Now, in most science fiction stories, you'll have your main protagonists who somehow overcome all adversities, even though there's four of them, or in this case, yeah, four of them in this case too. Yeah, five roughly. Well, six if you count the girl that flies the plane. Yeah, usually the bad guys are so incompetent with their tech, even though it's awesome that their tech that the good guys beat them because they're bad guys. Just aren't very many of them. And there's, of course, action sequences where people are dodging bullets and dodging dinosaurs and sharp teeth and stuff like that. There's a Jurassic Fight Club scene in a dusty part of the world. I forget where. But yeah. And then they end up in the ring. And then the dinosaurs end up in the ring. And then there's a fight. And the dinosaur ends up eating the bounty hunter guy. Yeah. They should have showed it, though. Not just him clamping down on his arms, but it literally ripping him in half. They should have showed it. Come on, Jurassic Park. Show the delivery. Make a wish. Bounty hunter guy. There was like one of them became a spy for this. Of course, that would immediately mean that he isn't a spy because he said that he's a spy. One of the people that worked on the Jurassic World became a spy. There's another guy that works for the Malcolm secretly, trying to destroy the evil, clearly Elon Musk parody guy. At one point, they do reference they show the raptor claw and the Barbasol can from the first one. Even though, how did they get that at all in the first one? Because Jurassic World reboots the Jurassic Park idea and makes it like, oh, they built the park anyway, just next to it, kind of. Why would they do that? And Colin Trevorrow, yeah, let's just build the park and then destroy it. All the trouble of building the park, destroy it. And there's one point there's a mosasaur in the ocean. It will be eating other animals, but and then there's the plot that gets going is that there's these giant Jurassic era locusts flying around. There are no American locusts. They're all dead. They're imported. They were all killed off 100 years ago or so, but maybe less. But there are locusts elsewhere, and so these locust things are like eating everything in sight, and turns out they're not eating stuff that happens to be on a farm that's next to that's near that is run by this Sysgen place or Sysgen or whatever it is. So so they know that tells them that the locusts are being run by them. Let's go over and find them on their secret island thing and do the kind of secret island Jurassic Park thing all over again. Yeah, it appears that the last act is on this island thing is just we ran out of ideas, so we decided to do them again. They're driving a car, it's going to go over the ledge and falls. There's the scene where they're trapped in some kind of elevator thing and the bad guy gets them. Or there's a scene in the power chamber, you got to turn the power back on, but there's dead locusts down there, and there's live ones too when they're attacking them. So, just to add something to that, the protocopies return and attack a guy. I won't give away everything. It's a plane crash thing, but this time it's a Quetzalcoatlosaurus, which is a sort of a furred dinosaur thing. That was cool. We got to see a giant Quetzalcoatl. That was cool. Very Cal-Cat moment. But it doesn't make sense that it wouldn't do that, and it would have killed it. Also, the Quetzalcoatlosaurus isn't that big. It's about the size of a turkey, but okay. Yeah, more like a bird strike in the end. And yeah, but so was the Velociraptor. The actual raptor they showed in Jurassic Park was like a Utah raptor. It was like a mega raptor. It's too big. Because it wouldn't be scary if it was the size of a small, basically a turkey, a chicken. That wouldn't be scary. So yeah, use a flare to scare the giant predator off again in there. Yeah, there's a lot of things that harken back to the other one, and although it does work, some of the critics are merciless to it already, and of the sequels of Jurassic Park, it's probably the better one of the other series. I think there's been 6 of them, so this would have made a good part 3, actually, if they just said it like 20 years ago. Part 3, better part 3 than the one they did. Part 2 was laughable and bad. Are they implying that the girl on the plane is... No, they can't be the same person. Okay, no, they're not. Are they implying where did the mother come from? She was from the 80s or the 90s? It wasn't clear. When did she die? If she was pregnant in the... There was like a timestamp on the tape. It said the 80s. Probably should have said early 2000s on there. Because it's now 2023, so 2022. And in the story, so it should be... so the timestamp should have said something like 2010 instead of the 80s. Would have been more accurate, 2010, which would be after the events of Jurassic Park 3. So seen briefly. So it's 2010. Let's see, Jurassic Park 2. 1993 was the original, set 30 years ago. 1993 was the original. The Lost World Jurassic Park was 1997. That's only 4 years later. Jurassic Park 3 was set in 2001, 20 years ago, roughly. 22 years ago. 21 years ago. Oh, yeah, wow. They did not make a new one until 2015 with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Implied that they rebuilt everything and made it the park in the movie. Yeah. Then Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was 2018. Yeah. Yeah, so they have to rescue Blue's child, genetic child that somehow appeared. Because they explain later that there's some kind of monitor lizard. Mr. Wu changes size and discovers what he's done. And he's the monitor lizard DNA makes the Blue able to reproduce asexually. Also, the girl was technically not a clone, or sort of was, or something. Now, they kind of retconned that. I thought she had an accident or an ailment or something that did it. And then later on, he was grief-stricken, so the father guy reproduced her as a clone. But that's not exactly what happened. Because in the haunted house one, I thought that what happened is his wife died in some kind of accident or ailment, a disease killed her. So he cloned the mother to make the daughter, and that would make sense. But apparently, it would have been born in 28. Would have been, I guess, in 2018 would have been 10. Because now it's 2022, so it's 4 years later. So if she was 18 in 2010, then this happened in 90. Yeah, that doesn't add up. 2010. It's 2010. 2008. He died in 2008. Oh, yeah. So, okay. She died in 2008. But that timestamp is wrong. It should have said 2008. No. It's a plot hole. But then you have a security fence thing that apparently the only thing that's keeping the pterodactyls and the Quetzalcoatl from landing on the base, on their secret lab, Elon Musk-like lab, is that the... I don't know if the guy's called in the movie, but he's clearly channeling Elon Musk. But he's... They have a device that, for some reason, sends out a signal that keeps the flying dinos from hitting the helicopters. I don't know how that would work. Probably wouldn't work. Yeah. So, yeah. There's a lot of oddities in this, and they try to hit all the right buttons from the other one. There's a Jurassic fight at the end, similar to the other Fight Club scene, but with a giant Titanosaurus and a T-Rex and something else, an Allosaurus-like thing. long claws. So yeah, it's yeah, but ew, it's yeah. Jurassic Park 1 is the best one. Jurassic Park 3 is the second best one. This is probably on a par with 3. Jurassic World, then Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom. The Haunted House one is probably on a par with Part 2, when that's not as good. So it's, yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah. So it's yeah, it's not as good as the Top Gun movie, but it's not bad. It's entertaining. Check your mind at the door, and it's fine. It's entertaining, except for the dates of how they figured out the people and the locust plot with the DNA they've got to smuggle out of the base and all that. Except for that, and then they go back into the base to turn off the power, like in the first movie, and the third movie. Yeah, so they sort of just grabbed things from the movies that kind of worked and put them together in a blender and do a DNA thing. Probably what happened is they were making this during COVID, so they couldn't be in certain places at the same time, which is why the base seemed very underpopulated for a bad guy base where he's doing secret experiments and stealing engine tech and stuff. It's just that there weren't a lot of people there. It's sort of like with the Star Trek Picard show, where the NASA base is unguarded, and the evil Soong guy walks in and just like tries to assault the main character, or for that matter, the city is unguarded and he runs into the character from that other story. So yeah, so ridiculous. So yes, but fun. It was ridiculous but fun. So that's Jurassic Park. Sure, watch it in theaters. It's fun. Yeah.